In what ways does your media product use, develop, or challenge forms and conventions of real media products?
I've mainly stuck with the conventions as it's what most people expect to see and they're a good base for starting to make a magazine. I looked at other magazines and analysed the similarities and differences between them to decide how I wanted to make my magazine. By keeping to the conventions, I put a bold masthead at the top as it's eye-catching and interests potential audiences. However, most magazines have more than one image on the front, and I decided to go against this as I feel that it overcrowds the magazine and can get a bit confusing.
How does your media product represent particular social groups?
My magazine represents teenagers to be very interested in being an active audience and getting involved with events with the band. It also makes teenagers seem quite obsessed with celebrities and the gossip that surrounds them. These representations are mainly visible in the contents page where I have listed what articles also appear in the magazine.
What kind of media institution might distribute your media product and why?
I think that Bauer may distribute my magazine. From my research, 2 of my 3 music magazines are distributed by Bauer, and so it seems like they're a good institution to distribute my music magazine. They are one of 4 main institutions, and therefore I think that they are the best institution for my magazine.
Who would be the audience for your media product?
Before I developed my magazine, I aimed it at teenage girls. After some consideration, I decided to widen my audience to all teenagers, as it would allow my magazine to sell more and become more popular.
How did you attract or address your audience?
I attracted my target audience by using bright colours and bold fonts. The red and white stand out and so should get their attention. The image of Eden is big and she's looking straight down the camera, which should also get some attention. I used an incentive to make my audience more interested in buying my magazine. Finally, I used some cover lines to make them want to buy and read my magazine.
What have you learned about technologies from the process of constructing this product?
I have learnt how to remove backgrounds and replace them with another image. I've also been able to further my knowledge on programs such as Macromedia Fireworks or Microsoft Publisher.
Looking back at your preliminary task, what do you feel you have learned in the progression from it to the full product?
Since my preliminary task, I've learnt how to address a wider audience. I've learnt what different audiences like to see and how to adapt my personal style to fit with that. Since my first final magazine, I've learnt that widening an audience gives you more options. I've also done more research and learnt that most magazines follow the same structure, but they adapt it so that it fits their style and attracts their audiences. Finally, I have learnt that by keeping it simple, I can still manage to attract an audience without going over the top.